Hi everyone, it's Hannah here from CosyCaitlin. This week I thought I would do a slightly different video, and it is the My First Time tag. So these were on YouTube quite a while ago, I'm talking like a good few years ago, but I just really enjoyed watching them. I just thought they were quite fun and it let you get to know the person a little bit more. So I thought that I would film one just so that you kind of know me a little bit more, and yeah, I just thought I would go ahead. So the My First Time tag does sound a little bit rude. We don't need to be sharing that information on the internet. So what I've done is I watched Louise from Sprinkle of Glitter and also Zoe from Zoella's videos, and I wrote down what they like the first times they gave, and then I chose the ones that I wanted to answer to share with you guys. So that's what I've done. I've got them all written down in my little notepad. So I'm just going to go ahead. Before I start answering like the first time things, just wanted to let you know this little bit of fluff here is attached to the rest of my dog. So if it moves, that's all it is. And I do apologise if she moves, but she is quite comfortable at the minute, so she should be kind of staying where she is. So my first word. This is one that I've wanted to know for ages. I've asked my parents repeatedly. I've asked my grandparents repeatedly. No one can tell me what my first word was. So, as much as other people may want to know that, I can't know that. I wish I did know what my first word was, but, you know, everyone was obviously too busy doing something else, and I don't know what it was. My first teddy. So, my first teddy, I can't remember. I don't know what I got when I was born, but the ones that I do remember are ones that I have at my grandparents' house. They're still there. I can't remember what they're called. They used to have names. Well, they still do have names. I just can't remember what they are. But there's like a brown one who's just a plain brown bear. And then there's one that's like a brown bear with really big ears. And he wears like an overall. And I think he was my favourite. I did really like that one. So yeah, they were my first teddies. My first friend. So my first friend that I can remember was a girl that used to live across the road from me at our old house where I lived until I was like 2, 3-ish. I can't remember her name and I haven't seen her since. But one of my earliest memories of that house is waking up and going over to her house and playing with her Hoover. She had one of those Hoovers, or when you like rolled it, there were loads of beads inside and they all like scattered around, so it looked like you were actually hoovering. So yeah, that's like my earliest memory of that house, and she, I believe, was my first friend. After that, it was then the people where I live now. There was loads of kids on our road, and we all used to like play out in the road and play together and go to each other's houses for like sleepovers, all that kind of stuff. So I guess they're like my first friends. And then at school, I actually had a little group of friends that I had pretty much throughout both first school and secondary school, like with comers and goers really. And there's actually 3 members of that group that I'm still friends with, and that is my friend Amy, Kerry and Emily. Still friends with them all now. We're all 22. We still go out for meals and catch up and stuff, so that's really nice. So I'd say that they're like my first lasting friends, and it is nice to say that I can still go and see them. My first crush. So this would depend on kind of what kind of crush you're on about. So my first school crush, like I must have had one before this, but the first one that I can remember that I actually have like a memory of me being like, I like him, was someone called Ben. That was in year 3 or 4, I think, at school. So I don't know how old that would make me. But he is the first one that I can remember. So like at school, I'm gonna say that Ben was my first crush. I actually bought him a bar of soap one Valentine's Day because it had a heart in the middle, and I was like, Mum, don't you think he's gonna take this as I smell? And she was like, no, he'll see the heart, it's okay. And I didn't really speak to him before that, and I didn't really speak to him afterwards, so there's that one. And then my first celebrity crush that I can remember was Bradley from S Club 7. I absolutely loved Bradley. He was my favourite, and I actually went to see S Club 7 a couple of years ago, and I was just like, oh my god, I'm in the same room as Bradley. My first ever, like, proper crush. Bless him. My first job. So, not counting work experience and things like that, my first job was at a local after school club, which is just up the road from where I live. And I didn't know this when I, like, took the job, but I was cooking, like, the afternoon snack slash meal for all the kids at the after school club. I was, like, I'd just gone 16. I had no idea how to cook. It was really bad. Like, I don't think they should have given me that job in the first place. And then they expected me to cook. And it was horrendous. And I remember the first time it went really wrong. And they asked me to make spaghetti. As a 16-year-old who'd never cooked, I didn't know how to make spaghetti. So there I was, trying to make this stuff as they'd told me how to make it. And then it turned out that they hadn't even turned the gas on the stove. So instead of this pasta cooking, it was just sat in a pot, and all, like, the gluten and starch was coming out of it, and it was this horrible gloopy mess. And then all the kids were like, I'm hungry, I want to eat. And I had nothing to give them. And it was absolutely horrendous. So we ended up having to do, like, a little snack plate. And I think I kept that job for about 3 weeks, and then I had to leave. And then where I went, like, immediately after that, as in, like, the week after that, I was a waitress at a pizza restaurant, and I stayed there, not at the same store, because I moved when I went to uni, but I worked for the chain for 4 years, I think it was. So yeah, they're my first, like, proper jobs. My first gig slash concert. My first concert was Justin Timberlake, and I will never forget the concert. It was amazing. I was in year 6, so and it was in the December, so I think I was like 10 years old. And me and my friend Amy were, like, obsessed with Justin Timberlake. He was the best. Bearing in mind this was, like, late 1990s, early 2000s, and I got to go see him. I think it was like an early Christmas present, and then we took Amy, and my mum came with us, and one of my neighbours, and, like, another one of my neighbours, like, as my mum's friend, I think. And we went to see him in Sheffield, at the arena in Sheffield, and it was amazing. Absolutely loved it. It's such a good, like, first gig memory, and I do really want to see Justin Timberlake again. Not only because I still love him, like, as a musician, but just because I think it'll bring back so many good memories. So yeah, I'm proud to say that my first concert was not, like, a really cringy one. It was Justin Timberlake. It's all good. My first car. So my first car I got for my 18th birthday from my grandparents, and it was a Suzuki Vitara, like a really old one. It was 10, 20 years old-ish. I think it was about the same age as me, so I think it was about 18 when we got it. But I loved that car. I've always wanted one of the classic Jeeps. I think it's a Jeep Wrangler, and that was kind of as close as we could get that I could drive, and I'd get insurance on and things like that. So I loved my Suzuki because there was me, I'm quite a girly girl, so there was me, this proper girly girl, jumping out of this big white bunged up car that I definitely shouldn't have been driving, but I loved it. It was amazing, and we only had to get rid of it because, I say only, apparently the floor was falling through, and because it was so old it just had quite a few problems. But I was really, really sad to see that go. Loved that car. It was the best. My first pets that I remember that weren't exactly mine but were in the house were when I was little. We actually had them, and there were 2 cats. There was a ginger cat and a black cat. One was called Flora. I can't remember what the other one was called, but I think I remember Flora because I think she was, like, my kind of cat. She was a little bit ditzy, the same as this dog here. So ditzy, she's my dog, and just really funny. I don't remember too much about the cats because they died when I think they died when I was around 5 or 6. It might even have been younger than that. But yeah, they're the first 2 pets that kind of I was aware of. And then a couple of years after that, me and my brother got a hamster each, and they were called Boo and Mike from Monsters Inc. And they lived in, like, a big hut together. So I'd kind of say that they're like my first pet. So yeah, the hamsters and the cats. On to more CosyCaitlin kind of related things. My first blog post. So my first ever blog post that I remember was actually on a different website that I had, which was about weight loss. I've always tried to be quite healthy and lose weight, all that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to start a blog to kind of help me keep track of it. And I've got it written down here. My first blog post on that blog was the 11th of February 2014. So that was nearly 3 years ago. So yeah, that was that one. And it was about weight loss. It was just like, hi, welcome to my blog. It's going to be about weight loss, blah, blah, blah. And then the next one after that, which was the same day, I believe, it was about me getting back on track. So yeah, I was actually at uni in 2014, so I think that was just a way for me to spend a little bit of time by myself and write these things down, and kind of keep track of my fitness. So that was that one. And then my first post on CosyCaitlin, the blog that you guys are linked to, was the 16th of November 2014. So that was just over 2 years ago, and that one was about little luxuries while you're at university. And it has a couple of dodgy pictures of my university bedroom and flowers and candles and things, I think. That is still on my blog. That's the first ever blog post that is on the blog, which you can find below. Self-plug there. And then first video. So the first video you guys will know me from or have seen is the one that is on this channel, and I believe it is the what I got for Christmas 2015 video, which obviously went up a year ago. And I think that was the first one I did on this channel where I kind of knew I wanted to do something like this. However, I was on YouTube about, oh gosh, how old am I? About 10 years ago, if not slightly longer. YouTube had quite a big presence when I was younger for if you were a fan of someone, it was quite a big thing. At that time, High School Musical had just come out. I was a massive fan of Ashley Tisdale, which I still am. And I had a channel that was just for things to do with her. So it was like music, music videos that I'd made, little fan fictions, and a lot of kind of this, me talking to the camera. I think I did this quite a lot, and I made quite a few friends through it actually, which is a little bit scary when you think I was like 11, 12 years old and I was doing this and making friends with people. But it was people all over the world. It was quite nice to know everyone. I can't remember what my first video on that channel was, but I do know that I had that channel. And yeah, those were back in the days where you could post someone's music video and the music and not have to like blank the music out so that they didn't have copyright. Back in the day, Ashley Tisdale liked my video that day. I remember that one. So that is everything for today's video. I hope you like kind of finding out a little bit more about me. If there is anything else that you want to know, let me know down below in the comments or write on my blog or tweet me, anything. I do like videos like this where I just kind of get to have a chat. So if there is anything else that you want to know, please do let me know, and I would love to do another video like this. Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And yeah, I'll see you in my next one. Thank you very much. Bye.